information here for you. I want to present it to you from a different angle, though. I don't want to just present it to you as just sharing Iraq news with you too, okay? We're going to look at this from a different angle because it's very revealing, okay, looking at this from a different angle. First thing I've got for you guys is a prophetic word. Kim Potter, may we be fully prepared. This one's kind of long. We're not going to read the whole thing, though. Kim's just saying she's a prophet. At the beginning of this year, God spoke with me about preparing, but I really didn't know for what. Yet again, I am hearing prepare. Recently, as I meditate on this, a friend texted me and she said she was hearing prepare the way of the Lord. I believe God is going to do mighty things in our midst. But are we ready for them? This won't always look like we think they will. Today, I encourage you to prepare your heart for what lies ahead. Tune into God's voice and prepare in any of the ways He leads you. I want to share again, I am writing this, sent out earlier this year, actually, too, on this very subject. So there you guys go. God's just saying, prepare in your heart what He has for you. All right. That's a long one. We're going to look at now we're going to jump into the news, but we're not just sharing Iraq news with you. Okay. I know that, and just so you guys know, I mean, it's there's nothing wrong with being informed, listening to what other people have to say. I personally do not listen to other gurus because they either share news with you or they just keep telling you soon. I have yet to meet another guru that has actually ever been able to tell you what is the delay, what are you waiting for, and actually come out and just analyze something from a very deep angle of what I'm about to do for you right here, okay? So here's the way I'm presenting this to you. We're not just looking at news articles. What we're looking at is how the news articles themselves are changing and transitioning, because that is very telling, okay? Is the financial crisis in Iraq has become chronic. The economic crisis returns in Iraq to the forefront of the Iraqi scene with a new drop in oil prices, which puts the government Kademi in front of a new test and the possibility of searching or securing the salaries of employees and retirees, since the financial crisis still exists without government solutions. Any non-oil revenue funds are not sufficient to cover operational expenditures, as the total revenues for the past month reached about $4 billion. What the government actually needs to pay the expenses, including $6 billion per month. Will Iraq once again resort to borrowing? This is my point now. The answer to that's going to be no. Iraq already had to borrow money for salaries. Why? Because very simply, they weren't ready to change the rate, which means they weren't ready to show you and approve a 2020 budget. Now, they're bringing forth a 2020 budget. Okay, that's why they're not ready to borrow. See, I'm trying to show you how they're transitioning, okay? They're done borrowing, they're moving to the budget. You guys already know this 2020 budget has a lot of reforms in it. The 2020 budget, which only covers 6 months, is actually should only be half of what the pre-COVID approved budget was, which the pre-approved 12-month budget was only 164 trillion. Half of 164 trillion is 82 trillion, guys. That would be a 6-month budget. But it's 148 trillion. That means they have like 66 trillion dinar in the 2020 budget, guys, just for reforms. Okay, so we're done looking at this article because I'm just trying to show you how they're transitioning from borrowing to approving and coming forth with a 2020 budget with a 66 trillion for reforms. Okay. Al-Kazemi Saleh and the leaders of the Kurds. Iraq has a historic opportunity to overcome all the pitfalls of the past and build its economy. The other thing I want to show you here, since Iraq came to the U.S. on August 20th, the big transition in the articles now all show Iraq transitioning to becoming international. The only way Iraq can build its economy is to become international. It's that simple. Okay, and launch and promote investment. Prime Minister Kademi met the President of the Republic of the Kurdistan region. Hold on, guys. I'm just trying to scan through this real quick to see if there's anything in it that here, like in this current paragraph in the middle, they say start building their economy. An administrative system is the best. Here they're talking, next paragraph, they say requires construction and solidarity. So And then in this paragraph, okay, they're saying in this current paragraph, they talk about seeking reform. So again, that's the launching of the 2020 budget. And as you guys know, reforms are post-rate change, okay? Let's look at the next article. This industry reveals to rehabilitate and operate projects in all cities, guys. That's another way when they say rehab or operate projects in all cities. And rehabilitate, guys, rehabilitate means reconstruction. Projects in all cities, guys, that's reform. So they're talking about reconstruction reforms here, okay? Minister of Industry and Minerals revealed that there are plans to rehabilitate and operate projects in all cities. The ministry will develop plans to rehabilitate and operate some projects in all cities within the budget for next year. But again, remember that I've already proven to you factually the 2020 budget, current fiscal year, ends in March. So that's still part of next year. So they don't stress here. Are they talking 2021 budget or 2020 budget? They don't clarify that. The ministry is currently working on borrowing from companies and banks using its own capabilities, noting the ministry has opened 7 factories in an effort and hopes to open more factories that are stalled and need simple spare parts and simple percentages of rehabilitation operation before the end of the year. So anyway, guys, and then let's look at the last paragraph. And near the end, it talks about they've reached an agreement with foreign companies, including British, guys. That's more international agreements, MOUs, okay? Those international MOUs, guys, that's international status right there, okay? Next article, representative affirmations on the importance of approving a budget for the remaining months of the year. So now for remaining months of the year, let's look at this, because this had some good stuff in it. A number of representatives stressed the importance of approving a budget for the remainder of the coming months for the current year, explaining that this would know the final accounts of the ministries and the sums the Iraqi obtaining during the 2020. The deputy, Mohammed Karim, said to Information, there is an urgent need to approve the budget for what remains for the coming months in order to know the final accounts and settle final accounts between the ministries and the government. On the other hand, a member of the Parliament Finance Committee stated that the budget has reached the Council of Ministers and is awaiting vote on it and is sending it to the House of Representatives in order to approve the budget for 3 months. Let's talk about that for a second. Just so you guys know, this week it's only going to the Council of Ministers, not to Parliament. It most likely will not go to Parliament until after September 20th. Again, this week, only the Council of Ministers is approving the budget, and it most likely will not get to Parliament until after September 20th. Just want to stress that to you, okay? Which would mean it probably won't even reach Parliament until sometime like till next week or a week and a half out. A full week, like a full week and a half out. 2 weeks, something like that. So it has some time yet before it reaches Parliament. And notice how they said in that current paragraph to approve a budget for 3 months, guys. I know you guys are all smarter than that. You're not as dumb as they want you to be. Okay? The full pre-COVID 12-month budget was 164 trillion. The current, as they call it, 3-month, which is the post-COVID budget, is 148 trillion. So you're saying that a 12-month budget's 164 trillion, a 6-month budget, or what they're saying is a 3-month budget is 148 trillion. That's a difference of only $16 trillion, guys. I know you're not ignorant enough to believe that they need 148 trillion for 3 months. I know no one's dumb enough for that. Because when the pre-COVID 12-month budget was 164 trillion, half of that is only 82 trillion. It's that simple. So if you do the math from the pre-COVID budget and 6 months is only 82 trillion, then how is 148 trillion needed for only 3 months? It's not, guys. They're lying to you. It's a 6-month budget, but the 6-month budget's 82 trillion, but it has an extra 66 trillion in it for the reforms that they told you they're bringing forth and approving in September for this quarter. Okay? It's that simple. Now, here's where they contradict themselves. For this part, a member of the Parliamentary Finance Committee, Mohammed Sabib, stated that the budget is not for 3 months, but is complete for the year of 2020. Okay. So what they're actually saying here is that this budget's for the full year of 2020. It's not. So they actually, all they did was, guys, was they actually reduced the pre-COVID amount of 164 trillion down to 148 trillion. Remember they did it per barrel of oil at, instead of 56 down to $40 per barrel of oil for this current budget, because they had to, because they reduced it. So that's why they've reduced it. But really all it's going to do at this point, again, is cover 6 months with reforms. So anyway, guys, that's it. So there you guys go. I wanted to show you how articles are transitioning. You're better off looking at the bigger picture than just a narrow picture of just reading the articles, because if all you do is read the articles, you're walking into this with blinders on. If you look at it standing back, looking at it more abroad, you can see more of the big picture of what are their real intentions. What are they doing? Well, they're no longer borrowing money, because they're jumping now into an approved 2020 budget with reforms. And one thing I've always tried to stress you is, why didn't they do the reforms in any previous years? They couldn't, because they're waiting on the rate change. The reforms are rate change dependent. Okay? And the fact that there are reforms in the budget, that means the budget is rate change dependent. Now, did you notice how they told you, like, the budget, the 2020 budget and the reforms aren't even getting submitted to Parliament until the end of September? But I just kind of factually proved to you that the budget and reforms are rate change dependent. Okay? And they told you they're going to bring forth and submit the 2020 budget to Parliament and the reforms at the end of September. Guys, they're actually, in a way, they're, if you can really break this down and kind of think deep and analytically, you can actually use their own information and let it walk you right up to the timing of the rate change. There you guys go. God bless. Have a great day.